Alrighty, so this is not going to be the absolute most entertaining video, but in today's video I'm going to show you how in the last month alone I made 34,200-ish pounds in my marketing agency selling AI solutions to local businesses, which equates into roughly, give or take, about $46.3 thousand in USD if I'm not mistaken. And let me in fact refresh the page to show that these are real numbers and that I'm not faking anything. And in today's video I'm going to walk you through pretty much everything A to Z. Number one, what's the actual niche that I'm selling to? What's the offer am I selling, and how am I able to charge these guys anywhere between $10, $15 to $20,000 a pop for my AI solutions that we build out for them? Number two, I'm gonna walk you through the absolute best and the most predictable way that I've seen over the years when it comes down to booking calls with these types of businesses, where instead of you chasing them, they are chasing you and they're actually interested in your services. And number three, I'm gonna walk you through the way how we actually conduct our sales calls to increase our closing rate, so you can take away that right after watching this video. So the very first thing you need to do is you have to create the actual offer that's gonna get you to these figures. And that really is gonna come down to you pretty much helping these guys get what they want, which is more money, more revenue for their own business. And really the way how you do that in the absolute best way is through pretty much picking one specific niche where you can establish yourself as the go-to expert with a highly tailored client acquisition system for them, so that this way when you actually are going to pitch them, you're going to appear as the actual expert, and this way you can actually increase your prices, and you can also make it much easier for you to actually deliver for these guys. So for example, for me personally, I work with law firms, and we don't really work with anybody else. And the reason for this is because number one, they obviously have a lot of money. They're not as tech savvy to build out these AI solutions themselves. And number three as well, we are only working with that niche because, that allows us to position ourselves as the experts in that field. So you want to do the exact same thing as well. And if you currently don't have a niche that you are in, then here's a couple of examples of niches that you can go after, such as roofing, HVAC, solar, etc., etc. And really what you're going to notice across these niches right here, the main commonalities, is that number one, they typically have a relatively high average order value, which you want to look out for, because that means that all that you really have to do for them, for example, is help them get anywhere between, like 2, 3, 4 clients, and that already pays off your entire service fee. So for us, as we work lawyers, some of these guys charge their own clients anywhere between 10, 15, 20K. So we pretty much need to get them like 1 or 2 clients, and that already pays off our entire service fee. And that's much easier to do than helping them get like 30 clients a month just to break even on your service. And then the other thing that you can notice with these niches right here as well is that these guys typically are not tech savvy to a point where they know how to actually build these AI solutions themselves. They're busy doing the roofing work, HVAC, solar, or whatever is their actual work that they're doing. They're busy doing that. They don't have time to figure out how to build the AI solutions. So you want to pick out niches like that essentially. From there on out, really the AI offer that you're gonna sell them, and the one that I'm selling right now, really comes down to you pretty much identifying what's the reason why top 1% of businesses in that local niche are actually the 1%. Why are they successful exactly? And that usually in most cases comes down to really good lead flow, really strong intake, and being extremely good at sales. So what you want to do is you want to pretty much package your offer in a way that makes it unreasonable for them not to get to that 1%. And that comes down to you pretty much helping them in lead flow, strong intake, and also helping them in sales, of course. By you doing that, you pretty much create a complete bridge from that gap for them to actually get to their 1% and pretty much get to that goal and help them make money, right? So you want to solve for every single bottleneck, and that's exactly what's going to allow you charge them anywhere between 10, 15, 20K for your program, instead of selling a very cheap AI agent for like $1,000 a month, basically, because for example, for us, our program is 3 months, 90 days. We charge between 10, 15 to 20K for our service. And then after the 3rd month, we pretty much continue working with these guys on a monthly retainer that is a lower retainer than what they initially paid for those first initial 3 months. So this way makes it be like a complete no-brainer deal for them. So you want to identify what are the main things that make that 1% be successful. Like I said, usually comes down to good lead flow, strong intake, and good sales. And what you want to do after that is you want to take multiple AI solutions and put them together so you can sell an entire AI growth infrastructure for them that's going to make it more simple, way faster, and way more efficient for them to actually get to that 1%. So we're not selling like one-off agents here. Instead, you're pretty much building an entire AI solution for them to get to that 1%. And really, here's the actual offer itself that I've seen working really well, that I'm selling right now, that you can pretty much go ahead and use yourself as well. I've seen working really, really well, multiple niches. Number one, obviously help them with lead generation. You do that through a done for you service, either running ads on Facebook or Google. And really the AI stack that you're going to use here is HeyGen and also ChatGPT. Now, HeyGen, if you don't know what that platform is, it's basically this platform right here where you can actually use AI creators to pretty much create UGC AI. So you just punch in the script and then it creates a video, and then you can literally run that as an ad for the client instead of them having to record videos themselves. Now, in order for you to come up with an actual script, you can use ChatGPT to create a script, which you then punch into HeyGen and then it creates the video. So you can use that AI stack right there to actually help them with lead generation. Then from there on out, you want to help them with the strong intake process, which is also going to be done for you. And it's going to be a combination of two specific softwares, Synthflow and High Level. Now, Synthflow is this software you can actually create AI agents that are going to call leads. So this way, when you are helping a client generate leads, now there is an AI agent through Synthflow that pretty much calls all those leads to pre-qualify them and book the qualified ones on their calendar. Go High Level, on the other hand, allows you to host everything else for the clients, such as landing pages, emails, SMS automations. You can even build AI chatbots there. So instead of you having just the Synthflow AI agent that calls them, you can even have a Go High Level chatbot agent also messages and texts them in a sense. So you want to use that stack right there to help them with the intake. And then really you also want to help them with sales. So that's going to come down to Done With You, where you're going to use ChatGPT and Fathom AI note takers. So have your client record every single consultation that they have with their potential clients that you're sending their way. And from there on out, you then take that script they have been using, put it into ChatGPT, and ask ChatGPT to create a better sales script, which you can then send out to the client, and then have the client keep on using it, and then keep on iterating on it, and make sure their sales are fully dialed in. And then really from there on out, the last point that I've seen working really well as far as sales goes, as well as to what these local businesses absolutely love, is social media content, which you're gonna help them with through a Done With You / Done For You service. And there's a couple of AI tools right here that we, for example, use. It's a combination of ChatGPT, 11 Labs, Magic, and also HeyGen. Now, 11 Labs, if you don't know, that platform is basically a platform where you can convert text into speech with all sorts of different AI voices. And some Magic is essentially this tool right here that allows you to use AI to edit the actual videos. So when you have a video created for the client, you just upload it here, and then it's gonna go ahead and create the entire edit right there. It's gonna pretty much add emojis, add text, add transitions, add music, pretty much edit everything that a video editor would do. So then you pretty much take all of that, use ChatGPT as well to come up with the ideas, such as reaction videos, educational pieces of content, Q&As, etc., come up with the actual concepts, and then use these other AI solutions to actually create the content for the client and do the distribution across multiple social media channels for them. I've seen that these local businesses absolutely love that, because it puts them in a position where they achieve massive levels of growth, and in a sense, pretty much they eventually can become the go-to local business in their specific local small area because of the amount of impressions and the reach that they have gotten through all of these viral social media algorithms that are older, basically. So this is the offer that I've seen working really, really well, but it doesn't stop there. If you truly want to make sure that you are selling and closing deals, you will have to create an advertising offer that's going to convert, because you can't just sell this alone in your marketing campaigns, or you can't market it that well. You can sell it on a sales call, but you can't really market it well, because not many people are going to book a call with you if you do not position the right way. So let me explain to you how to actually go about positioning it. And this, like I said, is going to be one of the things that's really going to make it or either break it for you, because there's a lot of agencies or a lot of people out there that try to sell AI solutions, and they just simply flop entirely because they don't know how to actually position their offer. So what you want to do is you want to create a marketing offer that's going to make it that's going to make them feel stupid not to actually book a call with you. And really the best way how you do that is through funnel hacking other agencies and seeing what offers they are marketing that are working extremely well for them. So you want to go on Facebook ads library and dedicate at least 2 to 3 hours to literally just do research to find what other offers agencies are running and which offer is actually working really, really well. So here's a couple of keywords that you can basically use in your search. So you go on the ads library and then you type it right here. Let's say, for example, you're searching up, bathroom remodels, guaranteed, right? Then you can see all sorts of different ads right here. Some are from bathroom remodeling companies. Some are from agencies that are targeting bathroom remodeling companies. Here's one, for example, and you want to then take a look at what ads these guys are running, and preferably try to find ads that are been running for, some time, at least about 14 to 30 days, because that means that if they're running it for such a long period of time, then it's probably working because they keep on spending money on it. So right here, for example, we have this offer right here that's been running, give or take, for the past 2 to 3 weeks. And as you can see, the offer that they're selling is 5 to 10 projects in 30 days, guaranteed, or you don't pay, using our AI solution. Now let's search up, for example, solar companies, and we just keep on scrolling down, see what other offers there are. For example, here is one from these guys right here. If we take a look at some of their older ads, let's see what they've got running. So these ads right here have been running for about 2 weeks, as you can see, and the offer that they have here is 200 leads guaranteed in 30 days. And then of course you can search up all sorts of other keywords. Like I said, here's a couple examples. You can search up a niche followed after appointments or leads, guaranteed or you don't pay. A specific niche with an industry specific term, guaranteed or you don't pay, and all sorts of other ones. And really, you will see all sorts of different agencies running all sorts of different offers right here, and then take note of that and then create your own offer. Once you have identified an offer or a couple of offers that are working really, really well for these guys that are within your niche and also outside of your niche, you want to then hypothesize on the requirements necessary for the client to be qualified for that offer. Because obviously with these offers, what you're doing is you're pretty much guaranteeing a specific outcome. And by the way, to let you know, most people, when they book a call for that guaranteed offer, for example, they get on a call and they even forgo what the guarantee even was all about. So you can sell and close a lot of clients without a guarantee. That's kind of like what we see right now for our own company right here. But you want to hypothesize and see what requirements you need to put in a contract for the client to actually be qualified to get that specific outcome. So for example, it could be $1,000 a day in ad spend. It could be the fact that you require them to have at least a bare minimum 50% closing rate. Maybe they need to be able to work with their clients across the entire state, for example. Whatever it is, just sit down and think about what's going to make it absolutely unreasonable for this client not to get that result. And then just put those stipulations in the contract, and when you're on a sales call, you present them that, hey, we can help you get this offer as long as you qualify for these details. Now, what you're going to notice is that usually with these crazy, ridiculous guarantees, it's going to be that it will be relatively difficult for you to fulfill on that unless the client has some insanely good qualification points, such as a big ad spend or whatever else that might be that's specific for your niche. And so usually what happens is that most people are not going to be willing to buy that on a sales call right away. So this is where you then go ahead and sell them a downsell offer. And the idea of a downsell offer is to still sell them something that they want, that they would like, that would help them get an ROI, but it allows them to get started with less requirements, and it's also going to make it much, much easier for you to actually fulfill for them. So for example, it could be something like 50 appointments in 90 days. It could be 100 leads in 90 days, etc., etc. You just think of what could be the downsell offer these guys will still want, and then when your sales call presented the main offer, if they don't qualify, then downsell them on the other offer that they still would like. And that's how you close these deals. After that, you want to go ahead and actually start booking calls. Now, the best way how I've found when it comes down to booking calls, really the most predictable way, the absolute easiest way without the headache, is literally through using Facebook ads. And for me personally, in the past, like this entire year up until now, which is in the last 6 months, give or take, I've spent very close to £23,000 of my own money on my own Facebook ads. And I've seen these working the absolute best in terms of booking calls consistently compared to like other methods such as like cold outreach, cold calling, cold DMs, etc., etc. And you don't need to have a big budget as well, by the way, to start out by, booking calls using Facebook ads. I'll walk you through a couple examples here in a minute. But really what you want to do before you even launch your ads is you want to go ahead and create a couple of ads itself. So you can start off with creating graphic ads, and you can also start off by creating some video ads. Here is a couple of examples of graphic ads that you can pretty much go ahead and use right after watching this video. They are extremely direct offer based. You're calling out your market here, include what the offer is, so that it's guaranteed or you don't pay. Here's another one, and then also here is another one. And this one in the middle, for me personally, has been the absolute best performer. This one alone has generated me a couple of $100,000 in my own agency selling AI solutions up until now. So you can pretty much go and use it right after watching this video. And you can also go ahead and create some video ads using, once again, HeyGen with these AI UGC creators. Now, here's a couple of scripts that you can pretty much go ahead and use, change a couple parts here and there, punch it into HeyGen. You can see here is one, that is the main hook slash body part of the video. Here's the second one, the third one, and also the fourth one. So you can pause the video and try them out and then make the adjustments. And here is also the second part of the video where, as you can see right here in the very beginning, you talk about what the offer is, that it's guaranteed. If you're interested, then click the button below, let's book a call. But then also you want to explain why are you able to make such a bold claim. And so this is where you then have the second part of the video where you actually explain how you're able to make such a bold claim. So you can pause the video, type it out, make the adjustments, and then put it into HeyGen and get some video ads made, and then once again put it into Submagic to pretty much do all the editing. The next thing you want to do is you want to create the actual audiences itself that you're going to be running the ads in. And for me personally, the absolute best method that I've found to be is through using lookalike audiences. So if you don't have a current list of leads that you might have generated in the past, such as book calls or leads that you generated or clients that you closed, then I would advise you to scrape a list of your ideal clients, and you need to have at least 500 of them. You can use a platform called Apollo.io. You just sign up there, and then there's a bunch of filters that you can choose, and then just simply export a list of at least 500 leads of companies in your niche. And then you want to go and upload that on Facebook, and it's going to create the lookalike audiences. Now, like I said, you don't need to have a crazy huge budget when it comes down to running ads. I initially started off by spending just like $30 a day, and now we have scaled up to a point where we're spending between 6 to 7.5K a month, give or take. So you don't need to start by spending a lot of money right away if you don't have that. So here's the campaign setup that I would advise you to use. You have one campaign which is optimized for lead forms, for instant forms, right? And then right here, you have a couple of ad sets in there, depending on your budget. Have $10 allocated per each single ad set. So you can have ad set number one, which is a 1% lookalike with 2 ad creatives in there. Number 2 ad set, you could be an interest stack, 2 ad creatives in there. The third one could be 1 to 2% lookalike audience, once again with 2 ad creatives in there, so on and so forth, as you can see. And if you have a bigger budget than $50 a day or less, let's say you've got $100 or more, then the campaign setup is pretty much the exact same. The only thing that changes is that you're allocating more budget per each single ad set. So this is the structure that you can use that I'm using right now, working really well. And really from there on out, once they opt in, they fill out a form. What you want to do is you want to create a Zapier automation that then automatically goes ahead and pretty much sends that lead on to your email and SMS workflow. I personally use Go High Level in my own marketing company. So you want to create a couple of workflows right here. When they opt in, you send them an SMS, send that, hey, so-and-so just saw that you came in. Let me know if you're able to book a call, send an email, wait for some time, send a couple more emails, a couple more SMSs with some value content, and also nurturing them and then prompting them to book a call. And really, once they also have obviously filled out all the forms and things like that, you want to send them to a booking page. And here's an example of a booking page that I've seen working really well, pretty much the same one structure that I'm using right now myself as well. Have the call to the audience here, have the guarantee right here, and then have a VSL or a DSL here in the very middle. Now, if you don't know what a DSL is, it's basically a VSL, but that's transcribed into the text format, and then they are able to just simply go through a slideshow instead. In some niches, this is actually working much better than a VSL. And then right below it, have the calendar for them to actually go ahead and book a call. Now, once they have booked a call, you want to send them to a thank you page. Here's an example of a thank you page. Have a video right here, which is a thank you video that, you pretty much tell them that, hey, thank you for booking the call. Here's what you can expect from the meeting, and also explain a little bit more about how you actually help your clients get results, so that the more nurtured they are, the higher is going to be your closing rate. Below it, include a little bit more information about your story. Step 2 is tell them that, hey, this is how you confirm the show up of the appointment. Make sure that, you click on the sender that, yes, I'm going to show up to the call. And then below it, really just include as much social proof as you physically can. Case studies, client successes, testimonials, screenshots of client wins, etc., etc. Okay, so do that so that they consume that before the call. And Also, what you want to do is you want to have an appointment center in place who is going to call the leads that are coming in to schedule extra appointments and then also reconfirm show up rates. The reason why I advise you to have a human-based setter here as opposed to a AI agent such as from Synthflow, for example, is because into the B2B markets, these guys are way more sophisticated. They're way more difficult to deal with over the phone, to a point where AI, in my personal experience, I've seen that it's not the absolute best way when it comes down to navigating through the call compared to how a real human would. So that's why I would advise you to have a setter instead. You can hire setters from Argentina for $400 per month plus $10 per each qualified shop call that they book for you to incentivize them to book more calls and ensure that more people show up. And so have the setter that does, the bookings, that ensures the shops, all that stuff. And then also go ahead and launch a couple of retargeting ads. So when they book a call with you, you want to create a retargeting campaign and you have a couple of retargeting ads there that pretty much show them even more content, more case studies, more client results, more information about your process and all that stuff, which increases the show rates. And it's also going to massively increase your closing rate because the more nurtured they are before they hop on a call with you, the better it's going to be. So have between 4 to 8 ads there, and you can literally put them at like a $1 a day ad budget. You don't need to have a huge budget there. Once the call is also booked in, you also want to obviously make sure that you send them the emails and the SMSs in the, confirmation workflow. Have the very first email, obviously with the Zoom link. Then obviously wait for some time, send a email 18 hours before the sales call begins with some more value and things like that. And then send another email 2 hours before the sales call begins as a reminder. And then an SMS 32 minutes before the sales call begins as another reminder. That's what I've seen working really, really well, along with the appointment setter that pre-qualifies and also ensures that everybody else shows up by actually calling them and sending them SMSs and things like that. And then really the last thing from there on out is closing the deals. Number one, you want to have an extremely good discovery phase of the call. If you do a very bad job in discovery, then you're not going to have enough information to use against the prospect to actually sell them into the pitch phase. And really with discovery, you just want to find out why did I get on a call, what's the current situation, what's the main problem, how they have tried to solve this problem, why is this a problem, for how long has this been a problem, what else they have tried, what agencies they have worked with, what did they like, what did they not like, what's the goal, just everything. Like dig as deep as you physically can. Ask multiple why questions. What do you mean by that? Could you elaborate on that a little bit more for me to get as much information from them as you can, so that when you actually go into the sales phase, you know that you are going to be able to close this deal right here and then because you are going to structure your pitch in the right way, because you're pretty much going to be tailoring your pitch in a way that they want to hear it as well because of their past experiences, their goals, the current situation, all that stuff. Really, what I've seen working really well when it comes down to you presenting them the solution is using this thing called the 3 pillars on a Google Doc. So instead of using an actual slideshow presentation, use a Google Doc instead. And it works really well because number one, like it's, not leveraged too much by other guys. Everybody else just simply shows a slideshow presentation. And a lot of these guys are numb to that already. So if you show an actual document instead, it comes over differently. But then as well as you're showing your actual solution here, you also show to the prospect your notes that you have taken through the call. Because you want to include right here, obviously, the notes as well as you're speaking the lead, some information about the marketing, etc., etc. And then below it, as you're sharing your screen to walk them through a solution, they see the notes here, which they highly appreciate that you have taken very in-depth notes on the call. They can actually see the notes. But then below you have your 3 pillars. And the 3 pillars really is basically the main 3 steps of delivery for you to help them get to that 1%, or in other words, help them get to that goal. So number 1 pillar, for example, could be, the fact that you help them with the lead generation, right? You can figure out some sort of unique name to that mechanism. Number 2, it could be that intake process. And number 3, it could be that the idea that you're actually helping them with the sales aspect by coaching them and all that stuff. So you can come up with the names of these pillars, but basically come up with the main 3 delivery points that you can put here. So when you actually pitch to them, you show them that we will use these main delivery points right here, and here's how they're different compared to what you have tried in the past. Here's why they're working, so you can achieve XYZ result. Now I'm gonna make another video at some point explaining a little bit more about how to go about doing this. And obviously if you have any questions about it, then drop a comment below. But this is the process that I'm using right now that's working really, really well. So present your 3 pillars, and then the other thing is once you have sold them on the actual program, you want to also sell them on the numbers. And the way how I've seen that to work really, really well is to essentially have a calculator like this, where you can pretty much punch in the prospect's numbers and then show them what could be their return given their own numbers. So for example, here you would include the amount of clients they want to get. For us, we work law firms, so we include the amount of cases that these guys want to sign every month. And then we ask them, what is their average client lifetime value? So let's say they would say that over a period of whatever time of range, the client to them usually is worth about, let's say, $7,500. And then you would ask them, what is their closing rate? If I send you 10 qualified people, or I book 10 qualified appointments in your calendar, how many would you typically sign up? And let's say they would say, 45%. That means that you show to the prospect that all we will need to do is book in 22 appointments a month, and that will get you to these results. Now, if you can spend XYZ amount of money per month on ads, then what we can do for you is we can help you get this downsell offer. So you want to figure out, once again, you want to hypothesize on what are the requirements that a client needs to have to get that downsell offer. For example, an ad spend of $3K a month or whatever else that might be. And then you actually punch in what exactly is going to be the downsell offer. So for example, let's say it's 50 appointments over a period of 3 months, which is way easier to deliver than something absolutely crazy that you might find with some of these ads on Facebook through other agencies, as an example, as the main marketing offer. And so you present these numbers to the prospect and you're like, well, I can get you 50 qualified appointments. And if your closing rate is 45%, then we're looking at about 22 to 23 clients here over a period of 3 months. And if your client is worth about 7.5K long term, then this right here is the projected long-term revenue, which is very close to $170,000. And so when you use their own numbers against them, they can't argue with these numbers in a sense. And when you actually drop your price and you say that, hey, my program is 15K, 20K, for 3 months, and your projected revenue is possibly this, given your own numbers, when you present it that way, that 15K, 20K, whatever you're charging, seems like an absolute no-brainer right there. So that's the way how I've seen to work really well to sell. And then really from there now, just go ahead, get the money collected, and get some cash in the bank. Now, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. Subscribe, drop a comment as well, and I'll see you in the next one.